going on?
Thank you so much.
Been like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ. You up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family. Smoochie.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock with my guy, as always, Mojo Muhtadi. Mojo, as we have been talking about all week, Super Bowl 59, just a week and change away. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Mojo, which begs the question, who does Jason Kelce root for? Jason Kelce, of course, is now retired, but as you all know, he played 13 seasons for the Philadelphia Eagles. He will go into the Hall of Fame in a few years, Mojo, as a Philadelphia Eagle. He won a Super Bowl with Philly, and a lot of his teammates, his former teammates, are still a member of the Eagles team. But on the other side of things, of course, Travis Kelce is Jason's brother, and they have been brothers more than 13 seasons. They've been brothers for 30-something years. Obviously, the entire time that they have both walked the earth together, Mojo. So who do they root for? Well, we're going to hear from Jason Kelce in just a second here, and hopefully we'll get some clarity. But first, Fletcher Cox. I brought up some of those Eagles teammates. Well, Fletcher Cox is not on the team anymore, but he and Jason anchored those offense and defensive lines for the Eagles for many, many years, more than a decade. We recently talked to Fletcher, Mojo. I asked him directly. I asked him straight up, who does Jason Kelce root for? Obviously, Chiefs playing. They advanced to the Super Bowl. Who does your former teammate Jason Kelce root for in that case? Does he go with little bro, or does he go with his team?
We know he's going with his team.
That's the right answer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mojo, there it was. In Fletcher's mind, didn't seem like much of a decision at all. He's going to root for the Eagles. A little bit earlier today, Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, doing an episode of their very famous, very popular New Heights podcast, and the topic of who you root for in the Super Bowl came up. Jason kind of splitting the baby here.
Here's the biggest thing. Obviously, you're my brother. I'll always root for my brother. That's the reality of it. All right. Even though I'm decked out in Eagles gear, I'm always going to root for Travis.
Take that, Philly.
But what? Yeah, but there's a lot of people in the Philadelphia organization, whether it's players, coaches, people in the building, that feel like extended family to me, especially my former lineman. Like Lane Johnson feels like a brother in a lot of ways. And I'm rooting for those guys too. I'm rooting for Philadelphia, and I'm rooting for Travis Kelce. That's the reality of it. No matter what, on game day, I'm going to be happy for one of those sides, and I'm going to be sad for the other side. I live in Philadelphia. I still go to the facilities on a very regular basis. I still feel like I am a Philadelphia Eagle, and that I'm a part of all of these people that root and cheer on our team. So I would be lying if I didn't say, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't going to be very happy if the Chiefs or if the Eagles, I'm trying to think, I'm saying like double negatives right now. I'm trying to get this right. I would be lying if I said I don't want the Eagles to win. You know what I mean? I want them to, but I also want Travis Kelce to win. So that's a long-winded way of saying I just want to see a good football game, and whoever wins, I'm going to be happy for that guy.
You heard it here first, folks. He wants Travis Kelce to win.
What do you make of that, Mojo? My brain is like twisted in knots.
I know what this is. This answer is the classic non-answer. I'm rooting for both teams and the old participation trophy kind of thing. I'm happy whatever happens here. Here's what he should have said, Babcock. He should have said, I want my Eagles to win, but I want my brother to have 800 yards receiving and 32 touchdowns during this game. That's the compromise you go for. And I'll tell you why he needed to say that, Babcock, because he is way less likely to get assaulted if he goes for the Eagles in this one. I would be way more concerned walking the streets anywhere, definitely in Philly where he lives, if I would have said the Chiefs, as opposed to if we said the other way around. Like, I'm not too worried if I'm Jason Kelce about Travis beating me up, whatever. And if he's able to, which we're talking about a tight end versus a center who was the master of the tush push here. I mean, it's just one man taking it to you, not a whole city.
Mojo, a Tuesday night, we saw something that we do not often see, not at college basketball games at least. NFL games, yeah, fine, maybe. But there was a big college basketball game going down. VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, taking on St. Louis. Mojo in St. Louis. There was only about a minute or so left in the game, and there was an absolutely massive brawl right down near the court. Watch this.
You don't often see this in college basketball, but there is a heck of a brawl going on in the stands.
Oh, wow.
And the police officers and the security have come over and tried to help out almost immediately to slow it all down.
Just an ugly ending to a really good game.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, all the players are looking up, the coaches are looking up, people have their cameras out, which in this day and age is not a shock.
Yeah, Mojo, I mean, it was a pretty big fight, not just some pushing and shoving. I mean, there were some big punches, some haymakers being thrown. Thankfully, order was ultimately restored. The game finished, but not something you see at college basketball games very often.
Babcock, I gotta admit, when you said there was a fight at a VCU game, I just assumed it was the VCU players, the VCU fans. I know VCU very well. I'm a Virginia guy. My brother went to VCU. My sister did. Some of my cousins did. Half of my high school went there. I know this team very, very well. And I know that VCU is in Richmond, Virginia. And you better watch how you talk to somebody from Richmond, Virginia. So I just assumed that this was going to be something related to VCU. So let me apologize now to them for that, because not only did this have nothing to do with the players, it wasn't even in the state. It was in St. Louis, and it was their fans that looked like they were getting after it. I mean, everyone I saw in that screenshot, not one person was wearing VCU colors. So, I mean, this might have been some friendly fire in this contest here. I'm not sure what happened, but it looked like for the first time in any fight I've ever seen at any sporting event ever, security was immediately all over this one. I mean, usually there's like 42 punches that get thrown before any security guard even comes in the shot whatsoever. So I'm going to take a second here to shout out security for doing a great job. Obviously, they know how to pick them in St. Louis, and I think they should give some tips to all the other arenas and stadiums out of the country.
Coming up, like father, like son, Antonio Cromartie Jr. following in his dad's footsteps with his commitment to Florida State. We'll talk to both Cromarties about the surreal moment when TMZ Sports rolls on right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, this has really been making me feel old. You're seeing all the kids, the sons of these former NFL stars who have gone on to star in college football, in some cases star in the NFL. Now, that's something that I know these next two guys really hope happens here, and just really the latest example of a guy who was a star in the NFL having a kid who is a star on the football field too. Antonio Cromartie, senior, of course, famously, cornerback, had as good of physical tools as a quarterback could ever want, Mojo. I mean, the speed, the strength, the athleticism, the size. Antonio had it all, and he really was a star. Played from 2006 to 2016, Chargers, Jets, Cardinals, Colts. Was a four-time Pro Bowler, made a ton of money, was a first-team All-Pro at one point. And now his son, Mojo, is following in dad's footsteps. Not just in that he's a football player, not just in that he's a cornerback, but he's actually chosen, Mojo, to commit to dad's alma mater, Florida State University. We were fortunate enough to sit down, not just with Junior, but with Dad as well. And you could just see how proud he is of his son. This was a really cool moment. Antonio Cromartie Sr., Antonio Cromartie Jr.
It's really exciting. It's just, I've always dreamed of playing Florida State, like as a kid. And, now that it's here, I'm just grateful.
And how about you, Dad?
This is a real moment. Like I always told him, he didn't have to follow my footsteps. He didn't have to go play at Florida State. But for him to get the offer, like on Christmas Day, like it's like that's better than any gift that I can give him. To a school that he always wanted to go to. So for him to get it on Christmas Day, and we go on our visit, he goes. Well, I'm not saying ours. He goes on his visits there and commits. Man, it's a surreal moment, but also just an exciting moment because I know that he's worked so hard for it.
Mojo, I love seeing the look on their face. It reminds me of when we talked to Ryan Clark a few weeks ago, and you can really see it. I mean, they've got more joy for their kids, for their sons having success than they even had for themselves. And it's a really cool thing to do, to watch, to see, and it makes you really root for the guy.
Oh, absolutely. And as a parent, this, you said it, this is way better than anything that could have happened to you personally. I love that they called him on Christmas Day, too. That is awesome right there. I mean, hopefully Florida State called Senior maybe a week or two prior because they could have saved him a lot of money on Christmas gifts because I think getting that offer would have sufficed for one big gift for the holiday. But that's awesome, man, because it extends way past the playing field, right? It's every time Senior goes to see Junior on campus, taking him out to eat, walking through all the classes and the dorms and all of these places. It's all memories. It's all stories. It's all callbacks. It's a personal connection for the entire family to go more frequently to school, to see their kid, to be more involved. It's just a really cool thing, and I feel like with Senior, wouldn't have mattered if Junior went and played for the Gators or any other rival school, maybe in Florida, the Hurricanes, whoever it might be. He's going to be proud of his son either way, but it does make you a little bit extra happy, a little bit more proud when your son goes to your school. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to feel the same way about my kids, whether they want to go to Maryland or not. We're going to be happy either way, but it might be extra cool if they go there. So you love to see these moments again.
Mojo, what do you think about the pressure? How about the pressure? And I love that he's like, hey, bring it on. It's got to play cornerback, the same position where your dad was an all-pro at the school. There's going to be a lot expected of him, right? And who knows if he's Antonio Cromartie Sr.? Not many people are on the football field. He was that good.
Yeah, you know what? I think there is more pressure on him from going to his dad's alma mater. I mean, the entire school, they're going to have personal relationships with the family. They're going to have expectations. The fan base is familiar with the family. They're going to have expectations too. There was going to be a bullseye on this kid's chest regardless of where he goes because it's his dad. But it's just a little bit more so when you go to the alma mater. But this isn't anything new to him. He's expecting this. He's been dealing with this his whole life at the high school level, even the peewee level. You can't tell me that there were fathers and family members of the rival peewee kids back when he was a little kid that knew that was Antonio Cromartie's kid.
Somebody's O has got to go in a huge fight featuring undefeated phenoms this weekend. Up next, we'll hear from David Benavidez, and it's safe to say the beef is very real between he and David Morell. Stay with us. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike Babcock, Mojo Muhtadi. Mojo, I'm glad you're throwing punches because that's exactly what is going to be happening come February 1st, and I cannot wait. Boxing fans cannot wait. I think just sports fans cannot wait because every once in a while you get a fight that is just absolutely fantastic. Not just two great fighters, not just a pop culture event, but both of those things, and that's exactly what is going down February 1st. Of course, we're talking about Premier Boxing Championships. David Benavidez taking on David Morell. Now, both of these guys, Mojo, are undefeated. David Benavidez 29-0 with 24 knockouts. David Morell, 11-0 with 9 knockouts. So not only do these guys win every time they step into the ring, but they almost surely knock the other dude out. Well, guess what? Now they're fighting each other, Mojo. We've got contrasting styles. We've got bad blood. And this is not the bad blood that's contrived, Mojo, to try and sell a fight. No. These two guys, David and David, they don't like each other at all. And I know that because I actually had an opportunity to sit down with David Benavidez. And you can hear the dislike in his words, Mojo. Take a listen.
100% real. You know what I mean? And, you know, like, I've been getting asked a lot of questions like, what makes you not like him? Honestly, It's very simple. Him just thinking he could beat me made me not like him. You know what I mean? That's just all I needed to get myself into that mode. And obviously the trash talk has been going back and forth. So this is 100%. It's real. It's real. And the way I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put a beating on David Morell, I'm going to let everybody know that, you know, you don't come to my spot and disrespect me, because this is exactly what could happen to you.
Have you felt this dislike of an opponent headed into a fight in the past, or is this sort of uncharted territory for you?
To be honest with you, it's uncharted territory, but I feel like it's more controlled. I feel like just the moment is getting bigger. All my fights are getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. So, you know, you kind of just go with the flow of how everything is. And this is a big fight for me. You know, this is one of the biggest moments of my career. So I'm just riding with it.
David Morell, I'm sure he's going to see this. What do you say to him? What's the message before you go in there and do battle?
All that talking is done. You know, all the time is here, man. I've been extremely excited, extremely ready for it. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to break his stupid ass face. And that's exactly how it's going to be.
I'm going to break his stupid ass face, Mojo. He says, I have been waiting for this fight for a long time, and now we are just a couple of days away. I cannot wait. Again, the pay-per-view event takes place Saturday, February 1st, and is available for purchase on Prime Video, regardless of whether or not you've got a Prime membership or not. So that's great news, because this fight should be available to everybody. That's how good it is, Mojo. Not just bragging rights, not just keeping your O, but the reality is the winner of this fight stamps himself in many people's mind, Mojo, as the greatest light heavyweight fighter in the world. You know, I mean, that's the level of dominance, and that's what we're talking about being on the line here. And I just cannot wait.
Yeah, Babcock, it is finally time. Somebody's O has got to go. Somebody's title has got to go, because this one is title for title. Hell, I don't know. After this one, Babcock, someone's name might have to go too, since it's David for David, and we're talking about breaking stupid-ass faces, to quote a great champion. This is awesome. Hey, a combined record of 40-0, 33 of those by knockout. This is going to be a huge one. Again, February 1st in Vegas. Premier Boxing Champions coming up huge with this one here, and there is so much bad blood. I mean, brother threw his title at the other guy's head in the presser. That's what I like to see, Babcock, leading into a fight. But let me get away from this main event for a second, because obviously we know how big this is going to be. But the undercard is going to be massive too, because we got a hugely anticipated championship rematch of one of 2021's best fights, when Brandon Figueroa takes on Stephen Fulton Jr. We got Isaac Pitbull Cruz taking on Angel Fierro in an all-Mexican showdown, and rising star Jesus Ramos Jr. duels former unified champion Jason Rosario. This card is going to be stacked. I cannot wait. And again, somebody might have to change their name after this one, straight up.
For the second straight day, Conor McGregor takes in a basketball game in Utah. The Notorious pumping up the student section at BYU when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, there he was again at another basketball game. I had never seen the Notorious at a hoops game in the past, and we've seen it now twice in 1 week. Of course, he was at the Utah Jazz game. Now, though, Mojo, last night at the BYU game, still in Utah, as he fires up the student section, Mojo. I remember being a college kid going to these Seton Hall basketball games and just how fired up I would be just to be at the games. I can't even imagine what it would have been like if Conor McGregor walked into the building, but he was there. You got to take a photo with the cheerleaders, don't you? He had a good time last night, Mojo.
Keep that man away from those cheerleaders. BYU, you better be ready. Conor McGregor has hit the campus. I mean, Babcock, what is going on with this guy in the state of Utah? I mean, I don't even know what you call someone who's from the state of Utah, but I guess he's one of them now. I mean, this is 2 instances. I mean, is he moving there? Is he filming a movie there and he's got some free time on his hands? I mean, I don't know what's going on, but this man is having the time of his life. He's pumped up. I mean, there might have to be a regular relationship coming out of this, something more official, because this just looks like it's the fit we just never knew to expect.
I know. I so badly want him to move to Utah, Mojo, and do a reality show. He's got the BYU hat. I mean, he fits in. They seem to love him in Utah. So we'll see. I still don't have an answer on why he's there, but I really do hope that we will get some clarity on Conor McGregor's trip to Utah. Until then, we have a bunch of football to talk about. We've got a lot of UFC to talk about, a bunch of stuff happening in the sports world, Mojo. All to say, tomorrow is going to be a great show.
That's right, Babcock. Matter of fact, it'll be the best show since today.
I'm a lawyer.